Well, happy Friday to everybody. Hope you are doing well on this date. Last Friday in the month of May. June is right around the corner. And in our replay, we are at June the 28th, the final game from Sunday, June the 28th, game number 510 on the replay. We're in County Stadium in Milwaukee, where singles are 1-6 left and right, and home runs 1-5 left and right. A couple of player notes. Ernest Riles has joined the team, and Billy Joe Robideau has been sent down. And I did look it up, and Paul Molitor does not return until after the All-Star break, which would be July 16th. The All-Star game is July 14th. So he will return on July the 16th. So he's going to be gone for several weeks with injury. And right now we're at Toronto and Milwaukee, and the pitching matchup's a pretty good one. Dave Stieb against Teddy Higuera. Good morning, Brown. And we'll look at how they're doing, both real world and on the replay. Of course, Toronto trying to catch Milwaukee. Milwaukee now owns a 4-game lead over Toronto, 5 in the loss column, 3 in the win column, 48-22 versus 45-27. So we'll put Steve over here out of the way for a moment and look first at Teddy Higuera, the ace of the Milwaukee staff in 1987. He was 18-10 with a 385 earned run average real world. We'll bring up the Strat computer. And on the replay, Teddy Higuera has been struggling, quite frankly. He's only 6-5, and his ERA is 4.45. So he's not quite pitched as well as he could. 111 innings pitched, 112 hits, 42 walks, and 112 strikeouts. And that's where we stand with Teddy Higuera. He is a -1 on his hold. He's a -1, and Surhoff's a 0. Stieb is a -2 with his hold. Stieb is a -2, and Ernie Witt's a 0. So that makes him a -2. Wild pitch and balk are the same number for Higuera. He's a 3 on both sides of that equation. Stieb is a wild pitch 4, balk 0. Pass ball on Surhoff is a 5. Pass ball on Witt is a 3. Leading things off for Toronto will be Tony Fernandez, the shortstop. He's hitting 337 on the replay, 3 homers, 26 driven in. He at 322 real world. There was no interleague play, Brown, in 1987. The only time they played each other was in the All-Star game, which is, quite frankly, the way it should have been all along. But we won't go down that rabbit trail. So before the first pitch, we will have, of course, the ceremonial first sip, which has become a long-standing tradition now, for the morning games anyway. And that is some good coffee. My dice tray is supposed to arrive today sometime, my new one, new quieter one. But in the meantime, while I'm waiting for that to arrive, we're going back to the old school dice pouch, whatever you want to call it. I'm not sure what the best terminology to call it is. I'll back this up just a hair to make sure everything in the dice tray matches. And we got old school dice with just the dots on them, not the numbers, and they're smaller, so I think they'll fit better in this tray here. So that's what we'll go with. And whether I roll it right-handed or left-handed is going to depend on how my hand is feeling. I'll start out right-handed, but if I start getting sore in the right hand, then I'll move it around. But right now, here is Tony Fernandez, shortstop. And we get a 6'9", switch hitter, 6'9", and that's a ground ball to second base. And that's going to be an easy play for Castillo. And Tony Fernandez is out of there. Leadoff batter is retired. Brings up Lloyd Mosby, center fielder. Mosby hitting 331 on the replay. 18 homers, 62 driven in. He hit 282 real world. Get a 2-9, and that's going to be a ground ball to second as well. So 2 ground balls to Castillo. Easy outs for Higuera to start his day. And that brings up Jesse Barfield. Jesse Barfield is hitting he's out obviously the home run leader in the replay. He's got 28 home runs with 71 runs batted in, and he only hit 28 real world, and he's barely halfway through his at bats. So he could end up with 50 home runs if he keeps up this pace. He is hitting 324 on the replay. He only hit 263 real world, so the batting average is also up. 311 for Barfield, and that's a walk. So a 2-out walk issued to Barfield. Barfield not really a threat to go anywhere. And here's George Bell. He is actually the DH in this game. We got Charlie Moore, the backup catcher, is playing left field, and they're giving George Bell a rest from the field, but allowing his bat to be in the lineup against the lefty Higuera. In fact, the Blue Jays going full force with the platooning. The only lefty hitters are Mosby, the center fielder, and Witt, the catcher. Everybody else is a right-handed hitter or a right-handed option to a platoon. You got Gruber in there for Mullenix. You got Orge in there for Manny Lee. And you've got Moore in here in left field in place of potentially another left-handed hitter. And you got the fielder at first base instead of Willie Upshaw. And so, yeah, a whole bunch of right-handed hitters there. All right, Havoc roll. Nothing going on. George Bell hitting 296 on the replay. 24 homers, 66 driven in. He hit 308 real world. And we get a 111 against a left-hander, and that's a hit by pitch. So Higuera all of a sudden losing track of the strike zone. A walk and now a hit batter. And that's going to put 2 on for Cecil Fielder, the dangerous Cecil Fielder. He is playing first base in this one. Doesn't do it very well. He's a 4.25, but he's there. He's hitting 302 on the replay, 15 homers, 27 driven in. He hit 269 real world. Clutch situation against lefties, he will lose a hit on 1-3 and on 3-8, but he's got lots of little diamond shots here. But Milwaukee County Stadium only a 1-5, so that won't help him too much. So Fielder, good morning, Dan. Good morning, Heiser. Fielder 1-9. He's going to strike out, and that's going to end the inning. So Higuera pitches out of a walk and a hit batter and gets out of the first inning unscathed. We go to the bottom of the first. Toronto nothing. Milwaukee coming to bat. And on the mound for the Jays, it'll be right-hander Dave Stieb. Stieb on the real season, 13-9 with a 4.09 ERA. 13-9, 4.09 real world. Going to his replay numbers. He is 9-3 with a 3.89 ERA. 106 innings pitched, 83 hits, 51 walks, 77 strikeouts. And leading things off for the Brew Crew will be Mike Felder, left fielder. Anybody came in late, Ernest Riles is added to the roster, and Billy Joe Robideau has been sent down. So Riles is on the bench and is available for pinch hitting, defense, whatever. Here's Felder, 2-5. That's a pop out second. Garth Orge will handle that one easily. 1 down. Robin Yount, center fielder. Yount's hitting 312 on the replay. 16 homers, 62 driven in, and he hit 312 real world. So he's right on pace. 2-7, and that's going to be a space hit. 1 out single for Robin Yount. Steve is a -2 hold, so if he got the lead, it'd be a 1-12. So he's going to try for the lead. Needs a 5 or a 6. Doesn't get it. So he will have to hold. And here's Cecil Cooper. Cooper is hitting 218 on the replay. 8 homers, 27 driven in. He hit 248 real world. 2-4 for Cooper, and he grounds it to second, and that will be a Giovanni's Tailor Shop tailor-made double play. We do the close-ups of the home runs, and we also do the close-ups of the Giovanni's Tailor Shop tailor-made double play of the game. Look at Cecil Cooper on a 2-4 versus righty. You can see that ground ball second base A sitting right there, and that is a 4-6-3 double play That is a tailor-made double play. And the tailor-made double play is sponsored by Giovanni's Tailor Shop in Lemoyne, Pennsylvania. If you're in the area, go by and see them. Tell them Demo sent you. They'll give you a discount. They are the unofficial sponsor of the channel, but the official sponsor of the Giovanni's Tailor Shop tailor-made double play of the game. So that will end the first inning. Neither team coming close to getting a run. Top of the second, and it'll be Kelly Gruber leading things off for the Blue Jays. Gruber, let me get my coffee here. I almost spilled my coffee. Don't want to do that. I did drip a little bit on my clothes, but nothing on the Strat cards. The Strat cards are still in not so tip-top conditions because they're Strat cards. What do you expect? They're not, supposed to be pristine. They're supposed to be played with. All right, Gruber, 297 average, 8 homers, 25 driven in. He hit 235 real world, so he's definitely overperforming, as they say. 3-8, and that's a 1-4 single, but that's an 8, so he lines it to short, where Dale Swain makes the play, one away. That'll bring up Garth Orge, second baseman. And Orge is hitting 154 on the replay. No homers, 13 driven in. He hit 210 real world, so he's one of the few underperforming Blue Jays. 4-3, and that's going to be a fly ball left field X. That's going to be an adventure. That's Charlie Moore, the backup catcher. He is in left field today, a 3E16. So a 3E16 for Charlie Moore. I'm going to get my X charts out. Didn't have those handy. So we'll get the X charts going. 3E16 for Charlie Moore in left field. 3 and a 5. That's going to drop for a base hit. 3 and a 5 is a single, 2 stars. So that's going to, well, it's just a single, so nobody's on base. And now that's a total of 12, and he is an E16 in left field. And there's a 2-base error right here, so they pay the price for putting Charlie Moore in left field right away. The E16 rate and a 12, and that is a 12. So it's a single plus a 2-base error on Charlie Moore. So they pay the price for putting Charlie Moore in there. And all of a sudden going to third base is Garth Orge with just 1 out. Now the Blue Jays will bring the infield in. The infield is in. What am I doing? I did Charlie Moore. I shouldn't have been doing Charlie Moore. I screwed up. My bad. Let me fix that. It's not Charlie Moore in the field. It is Mike Felder and the wrong team. Looked at the wrong left fielder. So let me undo that. Thank goodness for the undo in the Strat-O-Matic world. So left fielder is Felder. He's a 2E11, so 2 and a 5. 2 and a 5 is actually an F2. He will make the catch. That's a 12 and a 5. 12 and an E11 with a 12. So there's a 13 and a 15, but no 12. So we fix all of this. Good thing for the undo button and for correction tape. Looks messy on the score sheet, but we have to get it right. It is a fly out to left field. All apologies to Mike Felder. He is not a Charlie Moore outfielder. In fact, Charlie Moore is coming to bat next. So Orge will fly to left to fix all of that. Good morning, Trenton. All right, Charlie Moore. Limited duty, just 29 at bats. He's hitting a .172, a homer and 3 driven in. He hit 215 real world. So 410, and that's going to be a ballpark single check. It's only a 1-6, and that's a 9. So he will fly it to left, and that will end the inning. So Teddy Higuera thought he had a problem, but turns out the problem was elsewhere, but it got fixed with no damage done. So, all right, Greg Brock, recent returnee from the disabled list for the Brewers. He's back and ready to go. Greg Brock hitting .327 on the replay, 6 homers, 33 driven in. He hit .299 real world. And here comes Brock. 3-3. That's ground ball to third. One away as Gruber puts him away. Dan, I got it off of Amazon. I don't know how it's going to turn out. Supposedly it was, I looked it up, and supposedly it was, this is a kind of a tower that's used by Dungeon and Dragon players, but it got good reviews. It's compact. So let me do this real quick and I'll show you what I got. It was only $15. That was $14.99. That even made it better. But that's kind of what it looks like. That's what it's supposed to look like. Now, I did get the blue. They had multiple colors, but I did get the blue because I like the blue, especially with the contrast of the red dice most of the time. Although I'm using blue dice here, which I probably should be using red since I've got the blue background. In fact, I might go and swap them out and change it to red. But that's kind of what it looks like. But like I said, $14.99, I figured, you know, what the hey. I figured what the hey, we'll go with it. So it's supposed to arrive sometime today. Probably it's going to be more like, 5 or 6 o'clock this evening. Hey, Heiser. So you got that same one? I want it to be small. I do. I want a smaller footprint that gives me more room to put my score sheet down, and I don't have to be as wide on my scoping. I can put the webcam a little closer to see the cards better because I don't want something so big that it's taking up so much room over here. But what I was saying earlier, I think I am going to swap these out and do red dice. I probably should have done that from the get-go. Didn't do it. But I'm thinking with the blue background, the red would be a much better contrast for that. So that's where I'm going with it. And we'll see how it plays out. Well, like I said, Heiser, I'm going to try it out. It was only $14.99. If I think it's a bunch of crap, then I won't use it. I'll get something else. But I still really didn't want to pay another $35 or $40 for a dice tray when I've already got a dice tower over here. Really nice. I paid $60 for a nice wooden, this is good quality wood here. This is good stuff. It's just a little loud. So if it doesn't work, then my next step will be to try to invest in go to a craft shop and a craft store and get some felt covering to put over the edges to kind of quiet it down. Okay, if you like it, like I said, it got good reviews, so that's what I always check the reviews as well on Amazon before I order anything. So we'll see. Hopefully, I'll have it for the game of the week tomorrow in Fall Classic. That would be nice. I knew it would get here. It's supposed to get here sometime this evening. So, all right, back to the game. And it's Rob Deere. Deere is hitting .241, 9 homers, 35 driven in. That's on the replay. He hit .238 real world. 4-9 on Stieb is a walk. So base on balls, first one issued by Stieb. Deere has a chance to get a lead with a 7. And that is a 7, so he's going to go. He's a 17. Being held makes him a 15. The -2 makes him a 13. So a 1 to 13, and he will steal it. And he's out. So Rob Deere caught stealing. As Fernandez put on the tag. Let's see what Deere did stolen base-wise, real world, and in the replay. In the real season, he stole 12 bases, got caught 4 times. On the replay, he had stolen 6 bases without being caught. This is his first caught stealing of the season. So he's now stolen 6 bases, caught once. So the caught stealing removes Mr. Deere from the base paths. 2 down, base is clear now for B.J. Surhoff. B.J. Surhoff hitting .317, 6 homers, 25 driven in. He hit .299 real world. 610 lefty is a home run chance, 1-9, but that's a 17. That'll be a double. And now the caught stealing really coming back to haunt him, as Deere most likely would have scored on that. At worst case, it would have had second and third and 1 out. As it is, he got a runner at second and 2 outs. It's a clutch situation for Jim Gantner. Gantner in the clutch loses a hit on 110, and that's it. Gantner on the replay hitting .293, 3 homers, 23 driven in. He hit .272 real world. 1-7 for Gantner, and that's a home run 1-2, and that is a 2. It's gone. How about that? Jimmy Gantner hits his 4th home run of the replay, and that's exactly how many he had real world. Look at it again. 1-7 against the right-hander is a 1-2 for a home run, and the devil die is plainly a 2. So there you go. Jim Gantner, in 265 at-bats, he hit 4 home runs. In the replay for Gantner, this is at bat 226, and that's his 4th home run. A 2-run shot, RBIs 24 and 25, and the Brew Crew lead it 2-0 on the 4th home run of the year by Jimmy Gantner. He's only got a few more at-bats left, so I don't know if he retires or if he gets injured or what happened to him, but he's only, scheduled to have about 30 or 40 more at-bats tops. So not sure what takes place with him, but we'll figure it out as we go. So Steve trying to recoup from that. Went from 2 outs, bases empty, to a 2-run homer. And here's Juan Castillo. He's hitting 197 on the replay. No homers, 14 driven in. He at 224 real world. 3-5 for Castillo, and that's a ground ball to second, and that will end the inning. Oops, I got ready to put a 0 on there. Sure did. That's what I'm thinking right now. A 2 spot for the Brew Crew. They lead it 2-0 after 2 innings of play. That's score sheet's getting messy. I've got 2 errors already on it. 2 correctional tape in the same inning. Bottom and top half of the innings. All right, here's Ernie Witt. Speaking of the bottom, he is the number 9 hitter in the lineup for this one. On the replay, Ernie Witt hitting .268. 7 homers, 29 driven in. He at 269 real world. That's a 4-7 lefty-lefty matchup. 1-4 is a single. That's a 12. So he will line it to Castillo for out number 1. Back to the top of the order for Tony Fernandez. 5-7, switch hitter batting right is a ground ball shortstop X. We're looking at Dale Swain. Swain is a 3 E25. 3-18 is good all day long. E25, and that's a 14 at third base. E25, there's a it's a shortstop, my bad. E25 and a 14. There is a 13 there, but no 14. So good play for Dale Swain. He makes the play. Fights a tough hop off the dirt infield and makes the play. Here's Lloyd Mosby, another lefty on lefty matchup. Thank you, Andrew, for looking that up for me. Yeah, I knew something was going on because he's about ready to run out of his bats. But if he leaves on 7:27, Molitor will be back long before then, so that'll help their infield. Plus, Ernest Riles, I think he picks up playing time at that part of the year too. 4-8 for Mosby, lefty-lefty, is a strikeout. Second strikeout of the ball game for Higuera, and that will end the inning. 3 up, 3 down for the Blue Jays as they get nothing off of Higuera. Bottom of the third, Dave Stieb out, and he'll face the number 9 hitter, Dale Swain. No question he is the best number 9 hitter in the league. Swain, despite being a number 9 hitter in the lineup, on the replay is hitting .328, 16 homers, 48 driven in. He hit .252 real world. Switch hitter. 1-8, and that's going to be a strikeout. That's actually the first strikeout for Stieb. Took him 3 innings to get one. That flips the order back to the leadoff man, Mike Felder. 6-5, switch hitter. That's ground ball to second, and Garth Orge takes care of it. 2 down for Robin Yount. He singled first time up. 5-5, and that's a fly to center. Mosby hauls it in. It's a 3 up, 3 down inning for Stieb. So both pitchers back on track for this, seemingly for the ball game. Top of the fourth. And it will be Jesse Barfield due up. We get a 2-7 for Barfield against the lefty, and that's a base hit. Jesse Barfield, first hit of the game for the Blue Jays. As the old saying goes, there goes the no-hitter. Barfield, no threat to run. George Bell, hit by a pitch his first time up. 3-7, this time he struck him out. Third strikeout for Higuera. Wait a minute, I messed something up on the computer. Let me fix this before we continue, so I'm on where I need to be. All right. Got that fixed, and then Yount fly to center. Then we have a single from Barfield and a strikeout to Bell. Now we're back in business, back where we should be. For Cecil Fielder. And let's see, Fielder, first time up, he struck out. That's a 5-10, and that's a catcher X. Catcher X is going to be Surhoff. He's a 3E5. 3-18, that shouldn't be a problem. 3-18 is a G3, so the runner will advance. That's a 10. I don't think 10 is going to be an issue. E5, and there's no 10 there, but it is a G3, so Barfield will take second base on the little nubber in front of the plate. Surhoff's only play is to first base. So 2 away, but a runner is now in scoring position. It's a clutch situation for Kelly Gruber, and Gruber against a lefty loses a hit on 2-3 and on 3-9. I think Gruber, I can't really, it's not going to show up on the webcam, I don't think, but it looked like it might have been a slight drop of coffee, might have got the back of his card, but can't really tell. All right. It's definitely still playable, so we're not worried about it. Here's Gruber. 5-9 for Higuera, struck him out. Whoops, wrong way. Don't want to mess up Cecil Cooper. All right, so strikeout is 4th. And that maybe I need more coffee. I'm making too many mistakes here. All right. We go to the bottom of the 4th. But at least I'm catching the mistakes. I guess that's a positive. Rather than just letting him go on like that. So Cecil Cooper will lead off, and he hit into that Giovanni's Tailor Shop tailor-made double play last time. I believe it was a 1-6 or something like that. I'm not sure what the roll was, but it was a ground ball second base A. So could have been 2-4 as well. All right, here's Cooper. 5-6 left-handed, struck him out. Strikeout number 2 for Mr. Stieb. So maybe when I almost put the strikeout here was foreshadowing. There's Greg Brock. 1-8 for Brock, and that's a home run. 1-5. 19 will make it a double. Greg Brock. 1-out double. All right, here is Rob Deere. Deere walked his first time up. 6-8 against Stieb. He won't walk this time. That's going to be a base hit and score a run. 1-3 is a double, and that is a 3. Back-to-back doubles for the Brewers, and they take a 3-0 lead on Dave Stieb and the Blue Jays as they try to just continue their dominance of the American League East. They are way above where they should be. But they are ruling the roost right now, at least in the first 2 months of the season, or 3 months of the season. All right, here's Surhoff. 3-6, and that's going to be a ground ball to short. That'll freeze Deere at second base. 2 down. Clutch situation coming up now for Jimmy Gantner. Gantner in the clutch will lose a hit on 110. That's a 6-5, and that's a ground ball to second. Forge has it to end the inning, but another run for the Brew Crew, and they lead it 3-0 after 4. For any Yankee fans out there, when we go to the next game, June 29th, Ricky Henderson will be back on the roster as the Yankees travel to Toronto. Starting, I'll probably play that game on Tuesday, most likely. All right, here is Garth Orge to start the 5th inning. That's a 4-5, and that's going to be a fly to center. Robin Yount hauls it in, 1 away. For Charlie Moore, former longtime Brewer. 5-3, and that's a ground ball first base C, so Brock will get it. Flip to Higuera covering. 2 quick outs. And we go to Ernie Witt. Four 8 for Witt, struck him out. Strikeout number 5 for Higuera. He has been on his game the whole time. Had that one little blip there in the first inning where he had to get his bearing straight, walking the batter and hitting the batter. But since then, he has been stellar. Here's Stieb. He has been less than stellar. In 4 innings so far, Stieb has given up 3 runs and 5 hits. So leading things off will be Juan Castillo, second baseman. 3-4 against a right-hander. A 1's a triple. Anything else is a single. So leadoff single for Castillo. And we'll see if he's looking to run. He needs a 3 through 6 to get the lead. Does not get it. He will hold, and here's Dale Swain. 3-6 for Swain, and that's a base hit. 1-2 is a double, but that's going to be a single 2 stars. And just like that, the Brewers have runners on the corners with nobody out. And now it's with the way Higuera's pitching, it is pressure time for the Blue Jays. What do you do here? Normally I play the infield back, but I almost feel compelled to play the infield in with the way Higuera's pitching. Not sure you can trade a run for 2 outs. But, man, what do you do here? Felder is a tough guy to double up. There are a lot of ground ball Bs on his card, so we're going to play the infield in. We're going to play the infield in against him. He actually has well, the only way there's no pluses on there, and there's no the only way he's going to penalize is if we get a pound sign on the field. If we get an X chance, that's when we penalize. But as long as you get off of his card, playing the infield in won't be penalized. So they're going to do that. They're going to play the infield in, try to choke that run off. It's a 1-4. It doesn't matter. Mike Felder just hit a clean triple. Clean as can be. A 1-4 is a triple. 1-4 is a triple. A 2-run triple from Mike Felder. So while the Blue Jays were agonizing over playing the infield in or back, Felder says you can play where you want. I'm going to hit a 2-run triple, and it's now 5-0 Brew Crew. Milwaukee won this real game 11-5. They knocked Stieb out pretty early, real world. And I believe I looked it up. I think Lavelle went 3 innings or 2 or 3 innings, and so did I want to say Eichhorn was the other one that went 3 innings. Could be wrong. They used a couple of relief pitchers for multiple innings, and we may be hitting that same part right now. Robin Yount's the batter, not Cooper. So Robin Yount. Infield again is obviously in. Good morning, Joel. Infield is in. 3-8. And that's a ground ball, shortstop A with a plus sign. Now I'm trying to remember. I think in Super Advanced, the plus sign is still good. Sometimes I get my Advanced and Super Advanced mixed up. So, but I believe, if I'm not mistaken, that the plus sign means that it's in Super Advanced. It's still. Yeah, Super Advanced says plus sign, read single 2 stars. So it's the plus sign and the pound sign both. It's not one or the other. So with the pound sign, they were playing the infield in, but he got that 3-8, which is a shortstop pound sign, or plus sign rather. So that's going to trickle through for the drawn in infield for a hit. And now the Blue Jay bullpen is loosening. They're active right away as it's 6-0 Brewers. And let's see who's got the most rest of the Blue Jay pitchers. Eichhorn has got pretty good rest, it looks like. Let's check out Nunez. He's usually their mop-up guy. Yeah, Nunez is definitely the mop-up guy. So Jose Nunez is loosening in the bullpen. He is their mop-up guy, and he can go multiple innings, obviously. So Nunez is loosening in the pen. Right now, Stieb's going to stay in there. 6-0 Yount. Says, I don't care what the score is. I'm going to still try to get the lead. Doesn't get it. He'll hold. And here's Cecil Cooper. 4-12, and that's a walk by Stieb. So Stieb may very well be on his last leg here. First and second, still nobody out. And here's Greg Brock. Nunez trying to warm up as fast as he can. That's a 2. Balk or pass ball chance. We're looking at a balk chance, which is 0 on Stieb. 5-5, and that's a fly to right field. That'll be 1 away. Finally, recording out here is Stieb. Here comes Rob Deere, who doubled off of him last time, but he's also a big strikeout victim as well, or could be. I'm going to see if Stieb can get a strikeout here. 1-6, and he does. Strikeout number 3 for Stieb. They'd like to get Stieb through the inning. They'd rather start Nunez clean with a fresh inning instead of guys on base. So here's Surhoff. Clutch situation still for Surhoff by rule. And he will gain some hits here. 1-8 and 1-9 and 2-2. He loses hits on all those locations. 3-10 is a fly to center, and that's going to end the inning. So that'll do it for Stieb. He's going to go 5 innings. And he's going to give up 6 runs. So he gets blasted in this game the way he did in real world, as the Brewers put up 11 runs real world against Toronto, winning 11-5. And they've handed a huge lead over to Teddy Higuera. It doesn't look like he's ready to give it up anytime soon. So we'll do the numbers on Stieb to finish him off. Put our box score and get his final numbers. Stieb 5 innings pitched, 9 hits, 6 runs. They were all earned. 2 walks and 3 strikeouts. And Nunez will be your new pitcher in the 6th. And they're going to try to get Nunez to pitch the final 3 innings and save the bullpen for the Yankee series. Jose Nunez will be the new pitcher. Right now, Higuera facing Tony Fernandez. 6'6", switch hitter batting right-handed, is a 1-4 single, but that's a 12, so he lines it to swing. And there's one away. So the Blue Jays looking, the Brewers looking to take a 5-game lead in the American League East, as they pretty much are going to take 3 of 4 from their closest competitor, or 2 of 3. I'm not sure how many it was. Here's Mosby, 2-10, and that's a ground ball to short. Swain will take care of that. 2 up, 2 down. And here is Jesse Barfield. 3-8 for Barfield. That's a 1-16 single. So a 2-out single for Barfield. He's actually 2 for 2. One of the few Blue Jays who's doing anything. In fact, he's got the only 2 hits off of Higuera. Both are credited to Barfield. Here's George Bell. 3-5 for Bell. That's another base hit. So finally a second base hit. And down 6-0. They're playing station to station. They are not going extra bases on this. So first and second, 2 down for Cecil Fielder. It is still technically a clutch situation for Fielder because of the base running and 2 outs. So 1-3 single and a 3-8 single will be taken away in the clutch. That's a 4-7, and that will be a ground ball second base X. We're looking at Castillo, 3E21 for Castillo. For a second baseman, a 3E21. 3 and a 5 is going to be a G3 pound. Nobody was being held on, so the pound's irrelevant. That's a 14, and he is an E21 at second base. There's a 13 there, but no 14. So Castillo makes the play to end the inning. Nothing doing for the Blue Jays. They get a couple of guys on, but that's it. And we will go to the bottom of the 6th. Still Milwaukee fully in control, 6-0. And the new pitcher, Jose Nunez, will be coming on to relieve the beleaguered Dave Stieb. So Nunez, get his numbers on the replay and real world. Jose Nunez on the real season, the mop-up guy, obviously. 5-2 with a 5.01 earned run average. That's what he did in the real season. On the replay, Nunez is 0-2 with a 9.68 ERA, 35 innings pitched, 47 hits, 31 walks, 42 strikeouts. So if you're ever going to pitch a guy like Jose Nunez, if you don't pitch him when you're down 6-0, I'm not sure when you're ever going to pitch him. So he definitely has plenty of rest. He has not been used very much, so I'm going to get him some work in. Facing Jim Gantner. 2-7, and that's a base hit for Gantner. The hit parade continues for the Brew Crew. Here's Juan Castillo. Gantner will not try for the lead now. It's 6-0, so they're going to go ahead and just call off the dog, so to speak. Castillo, 2-8, and that's a strikeout. That'll send up Dale Swain. 2-4 for Swain, and that's a ground ball second base A, another Giovanni's Tailor Shop tailor-made double play. I forgot to roll the Havoc roll, but I'm not worried about that. It's going to be a 4-6-3 double play to end the inning. And we will go to the top of the 7th. And Kelly Gruber is your batter. Gruber checks in 0 for 2 with a strikeout. 4-10, and that's a ballpark single. Check 1-6. That's a base hit. Kelly Gruber, base hit. And of course, same situation. He's not going to try for any leads, and they're not going to hold him on, with the score being what it is. Here's Garth Orge, 3-6, and that's a fly to left. One away. And that'll take us to Charlie Moore. .612, that's a ground ball shortstop X. We're looking at Swain, 3E25. 3 and a 9 for a shortstop is a G3. Still, he'll get to it, but everybody will advance. That's an 18. That's where there's problems. E25 and an 18. 18 is usually error for everybody. E25 and an 18 is a two-base error. So it'll be a two-base error on Dale Swain, and Gruber will take third base. Two-base error on Swain. It's about the first thing the Brewers haven't done right. Second and third, now one out for Ernie Witt. This is the fatigue inning for Higuera, so we'll keep an eye on that, but the error doesn't count against him. Infield is back, leading 6-0. 6-9, and that's a ground ball second base C, so that will score the run with the infield back, but when you're up 6-0, you're not going to play the infield in. So an RBI ground out from Ernie Witt gets the Blue Jays on the board. 27th run batted in on the replay for Ernie Witt. And the Blue Jays finally get off the schneid. 6-1, and here comes Tony Fernandez. Runner at third and Charlie Moore and 2 outs. Clutch situation for Fernandez, and in the clutch, he's actually rated completely neutral. 5-6 right-handed is a double 1-12. That's 17, so he's going to fly to left, and that will end the inning. So the Blue Jays get one, but that's it. Higuera keeps some endurance into the – actually keeps quite a bit of endurance into the 8th inning. And Nunez will come back out here for the bottom of the 7th. No 7th inning stretch. We're just going to keep rolling here and finish this game off. And, of course, tomorrow, roughly noon tomorrow, the NBC Game of the Week in Fall Classic Baseball 1979 will be at Metropolitan Stadium in Minnesota for the Boston Red Sox and the Minnesota Twins. Then Sunday will be Basic Sunday. Basic Sunday. I haven't picked the teams yet, so we'll figure it out. And tomorrow night around 8 o'clock Eastern will be the final round of the 2025 Genesis Open in History Maker Golf, if you're so interested in that game. Here's Felder, 6-3, and that is a ballpark single check, 1-6, and that's a base hit for Felder. Felder would love to steal here, but I think they're going to. You know what? 6-1. Treblehorn says, all right, let's go back to our stealing routine. 6-8 to get the lead. Doesn't get the lead, so it doesn't matter. Here's Robin Yount. 4-8. And that's going to be a strikeout for Nunez, his second. Man, what's going on here with my computer? I got something wrong on the when I was putting stuff in the computer. I'm all out of whack here. Let me fix this, folks. Give me a quick second and let me figure out what went wrong. Okay, I forgot to give Fernandez the fly out. That's what happened. I credited him with Felder's single, which was wrong, obviously. But the undo buttons takes care of a lot. Now we're back in business. Cecil Cooper stepping to the plate with a runner at first and 1 out. 6-9, lefty. That's a walk. That'll put runners at first and second with 1 out. for Greg Brock. $5-9, and that's a strikeout for Nunez, his third. Now it's Rob Deere, technically still a clutch situation. In the clutch against righties, actually he gets one hit on 3-2. Everywhere else he is neutral. 1-8 is going to be a strikeout. Strikeout number 4 for Nunez. He actually strikes out the side. Score still remains 6-1 as we head to the 8th inning. Higuera coming back out, and he'll be facing Mosby, Barfield, and Bell for the Blue Jays. Top of the 8th, 6-1 Brew Crew. They won the real game 11-5. Brown, that's happened before. I had to just fudge something on the Strat computer to produce an out. Maybe I'll have a guy get picked off, or I'll turn a regular ground ball into a double play or something like that to try to get it. Because once it's played, it's really, you can't undo it. So, but if I catch it early, I can fix it, obviously. Here's Mosby, 3-5, and that is a 1-2 double. 3-20 is a single. So a leadoff single for Lloyd Mosby. And now the Brewer bullpen starting to stir just a tad, but not a whole lot going on around there. But we'll double check, see who's got the most rest out there. Let's see here. They do have Jay Aldridge has plenty of rest. If they want to stick with a left-hander, Paul Mirabella has decent rest. Don't want to go to Krim or John Henry Johnson unless it's necessary because they're overworked. But Plesac, Krim, and Mirabella are the 3 guys that they can really go to that have good rest for them. Here is Barfield. That is a 6-5 for Barfield, and that's a strikeout. Higuera with strikeout number 6. Going to bring up George Bell. $2-4 for Bell against the lefty. That's a ground ball third base. Hey, that's an around the horn double play. 5-4-3 to end the inning. And now Higuera is looking pretty good for a complete game, as the Milwaukee bullpen has now been told to go sit back down. So Higuera is telling him, I got this. So we go to the bottom of the 8th. Let's do the single by Mosby, the strikeout by Barfield, and then the double play. 5-4-3 around the horn. So Nunez back out. He will be going for his 3rd inning of work. He does have a 3 for his fatigue. Surhoff, 4-5, left-handed, is a strikeout. Nunez with his 5th strikeout of the game. He's pitching way above what he normally does. Here's Gantner, 2-8 for Gantner, and he grounds it to second. So Nunez definitely going to improve his replay stats with 3 solid outings, or 3 shutout innings if he can get it. He'll lower his ERA below 9, because right now at this very second his ERA is an even 9. So if he gets Castillo, that'll drop below 9. 1-4, and that is a ballpark single check. 1-6, that's an 8. So he grounds it to third. And how about that? 3 shutout innings for Jose Nunez. He will have to rest in the next game after going 3 innings, but the Blue Jays don't care about that. They care about having their main guys well rested. So we start the 9th. Teddy Higuera back out going for the complete game. Felder, Gruber, and Orge are your scheduled hitters. Let's get the numbers on Nunez real quick. He gave up 2 hits, no runs, a walk, and he struck out 5. So a really nice outing for Nunez. And here comes Felder. or fielder rather. I'm sorry. We got a fielder for Milwaukee and a fielder for the Blue Jays. I do watch Spokane Stieb's game if I'm somewhere where I'm near my phone and YouTube. Depends on what I've got going on, but occasionally I will tune into him and just have him as background noise while I'm doing other things. Here is a fielder, 6'8", and that's a strikeout. So Higuera, strikeout number 7. He's trying to finish this one in style. Here's Kelly Gruber. Gruber's 1 for 3. 5-5, and that's a 1 for a triple. Anything else will be a single. Spokane Stieb does an excellent job on his games. I'm not that interested in the 66 season, but I just watch to watch him and his excellent. He's got the best penmanship I've ever seen on anybody in this hobby. I'm somewhat jealous of it, to be honest with you. I wish I could write that well. 2, balk or pass ball. He writes better than I type. That's going to be a balk chance on Higuera, which is a 3. 1 to 3, he will balk. No balk, and here's Garth Orge. 5-7, that's a ground ball shortstop X. If we get a good defensive play, we could get the end of the ball game. Ground ball shortstop X, Swain a 325. 3 and an 11. Well, it won't be a double play. It'd be a fielder's choice at best. 3-11 is a G2. That is an 11 there, and he is an E25. There is no 11 there. It's a G2, so it's a fielder's choice, 6-4 to get the force out. And that'll bring up good old Charlie Moore to potentially be the last out of the game. If we look at the Blue Jay bench, I just don't think they have a whole lot there. All their best hitters are left-handed on the bench. The only righty they have on the bench is switcher Manny Lee, and he hits 256. Charlie Moore 215, but really a 6-1 game. I think they pretty much cashed in anyway. So Charlie Moore will swing away. I don't mind the questions, Brown. The hobby I started with Status Pro. That was my first game when I was a kid because it was in KB toy stores in the mall when I was growing up, and it was accessible. Had Strat been there, I probably would have gotten that. But if it was there, I didn't see it. All I saw was Status Pro. So that's what I played. All right, Charlie Moore, last chance. 111 against the lefty. And he's hit by the pitch. Second hit by the pitch of the game by Teddy Higuera. I don't think these are intentional. And now Ernie Witt is up. Might get a pinch hitter for Ernie Witt. I don't know. We'll see. What is Witt's average here? 269. So everybody on the bench is left-handed. So we're going to stick with Witt. Higuera trying to get that complete game. If Witt should reach, then the bullpen will pick back up with activity. 5-8, lefty. That's a strikeout, and Higuera finishes in style with his 8th strikeout of the game. And he would have struck out if he'd brought a switch hitter in. He would have struck out there as well. So Teddy Higuera is the man. He pitches a complete game victory. And actually, I believe that run is actually unearned now that I look at it because of that E6. That's actually an unearned run by Higuera. He gave up a run, but it was unearned. So about as dominant a performance as you could expect from Teddy Higuera. And the Brew Crew extends their lead in the division to 5 games as they improve to 49-22. Toronto drops to 45-28. Stieb, the loss, he goes to 9-4. Higuera, 9 innings pitched, 6 hits, 1 run. It was not earned. 1 walk and 8 strikeouts. and he improves to 7-5. Line score, 6 runs, 11 hits, and 1 error for the Brewers. 1 run, 6 hits, and no errors for the Blue Jays. So that completes the June 28th date on the schedule. Player of the game, obviously, is Teddy Higuera. I don't know who else you could give it to. Not really anybody else I see as worthy. Not when you talk about, I know Gantner hit a 2-run home run, but to me, Higuera shutting down the Blue Jays, the potent Blue Jay lineup, that he is the star of the game, player of the game, whatever you want to call it. So that's going to finish out the June 28th date. The other 2 games I will play offline, and we'll be ready on Monday. I'll get you scheduled for Monday and see who the first game is on the June 29th docket. On Monday the 29th, we're going to be at Fenway Park. It'll be the Baltimore Orioles and the Boston Red Sox on Monday. And then we'll be in Toronto on Tuesday for the Yankees and the Blue Jays. And then after that, I'll have to look at it and see. We're probably looking at Oakland and Chicago on Wednesday. Thursday looks like Detroit at Milwaukee. And then Friday is looking like Minnesota and Kansas City might be finishing that off. So that's projected what the week's going to look like. Of course, tomorrow, the NBC game of the week at roughly noon Eastern with Fall Classic Baseball 1979, Red Sox and Twins from Metropolitan Stadium. Also, tomorrow night will be the golf final round of the Genesis Open. And then on Sunday will be Sunday Basic Sunday in the 1962 Strat Basic. Don't know the teams yet. I got to pull them out and figure out who I haven't done yet. Pick 2 teams I haven't done yet and put them out there for that game. That'll be pre-recorded, and I'll post it on Sunday sometime or another. So thank you, Brown, and everybody else. Why can't you see Brown's comments? I don't know. I'm looking at Brown's comments. I don't know why you're unable to see Brown's comments. I don't know. They're there. I'll show them to you on my phone. You can see right here, Brown is sitting right here. There's his comments. So I don't know, Chuck, why you're not able to see his comments. I do not know. But they're there. Brown Wolves, they are there. All right, so that's going to do it. And Brown can't see Chuck? What's going on with that? That's weird. I don't know. Some little bug there, I guess. I don't know what the deal is with that. I really don't know. Can't answer that. I'm not a YouTube aficionado, so I don't know why that's the case. But they're there. Both of you guys' comments are sitting right there in the comment stream, so I don't know why they're not able to be seen. That I don't know. Can't answer that question. All right, so hope you guys have a great rest of your Friday. I know you're looking forward to the weekend, whatever you guys have planned. Like I said, tonight or this afternoon, I'll be playing the final round of the Genesis Open, the front 9, to get everything ready for tomorrow night. That'll be offline, of course. And then tomorrow at noon roughly noon will be the NBC game of the week in Fall Classic Baseball. So that's going to do it from here. Hope you all have a great rest of your day. And as usual, enjoy playing whatever game you choose to play, however you choose to play it. And I will see you all down the road.